punishment. And so a Muslim army will now liberate the Holy Land. I don't need the hadith from Khorasan. If you say that it is weak, it doesn't matter to me, because I have the Quran, وَإِنْ عُدْتُمْ عُدْنَا. And then the truth will prevail in the Holy Land. And the true Messiah will rule the world from Jerusalem. And the truth which came with Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam will prevail in the world. This is the introduction to Dajjal, the false Messiah. When will he be released into the world? Those of you who have been listening to my lectures and reading what I've written so far would be familiar. But in Trinidad, people don't seem to be interested in reading my books. So I have work to do here in Trinidad. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ in Medina. His name was Tamim Dari. He was Christian, he converted to Islam, became a Muslim. And he communicated to the Prophet ﷺ some information about an event which took place. When we study the event critically, we come to the conclusion this could not have been an actual event, it had to be a vision. He said, he spoke about his experience to the Prophet ﷺ. Hadith is in Sahih Muslim, and the Prophet said to the people, sit down in the masjid. I have something to say to you. Tamim Dari came to me and told me something about Dajjal which confirms what I've been saying to you. And now we have the event from the lips of the Prophet ﷺ. That Tamim Dari and some of his companions, about 30, 40 of them, went on a ship. And a storm came and drove them on the seas for a whole month. And after 1 month of travel, they came to an island. And when they got on shore, they were confronted by a very hairy beast. So much hair. Now you're going to have to excuse me for this one. So much hair, you couldn't tell which side was head and which side was tail. Like you have problems now in Lower Manhattan to tell who is a man and who is a woman. And then the beast spoke and said, I am Jassasa, wala tajassasu, Suratul Hujurat, a spy. And said, there's someone waiting to see you, pointing to a monastery which is lying in ruins. So number one, an island, which is about 1 month's distance from the Arab world. Number two, an island with expertise in spying, in espionage, James Bond kind of stuff. Number three, an island in which religion will eventually crumble, collapse, lying in ruins. And most of the people will become atheists. Those of you who came down from London on that flight, please keep quiet. So they hurried to the monastery which was lying in ruins. And there they came across a man, powerfully built, in chains, with his hands chained to his neck and his feet chained. If a burglar enters into your home and you catch hold of him, that's the best way to tie him up. With his hands chained to his neck and his feet chained. You okay when you have him tied up like that? So, an island. One month. Expertise in spying. Collapse of religion. And so eventually an island of only atheists. And there was Dajjal in chains. And he said, I am Dajjal. And he began to question them. Has the Arab prophet come as yet to Medina? The Arab prophet. They said yes. And he asked a number of other questions, and I want you to study those questions carefully now. Do the work that I don't have the time to do anymore. He asked, is there any water left in the Sea of Galilee? And they said yes. And we will, I think on Monday or Tuesday, return to the Sea of Galilee. And then he announced that I am Dajjal, and when I am released, so up to this moment, he is not yet released into the world. This is Medina. This is the beginning of the period of Medina. When I am released, I will enter every town and every city, which is why we chose Barakpur, because this is a village. When I am released, I'll enter every town and every city. But I'll not be allowed to enter Mecca and Medina, because the angels will guard me. This is a profoundly important hadith. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went on to say that when Dajjal is released, he'll live on earth for 40 days. One day like a year, one day like a month, one day like a week. وَسَائِرُ أَيَّامِهِ كَأَيَّامِكُمْ. And all his days, meaning all the rest of his days, like your days. And in the Bible, the mark of Dajjal is 666, meaning 600 and then 60 and then 6. And our Prophet says, a day like a year, that's the 600. A day like a month, that's the 60. A day like a week, that's the 6. It's the same thing, using different languages. Now then, which island is it? Because when he's released, it is from that island that he will commence his mission.